Here are 6 amazing podcasts that I used to listen to. Some of them I still do, especially when I first started my journey. They go from super beginner up to intermediate, and I'll give you the benefits of each one and even a little sample so that you can hear it for yourself. So this first podcast is for super beginners. It is a podcast from a small town teacher who creates these stories from scratch. Some benefits of this podcast is she speaks very clearly and slowly, okay? You will hear every sound of every word. Although she's not a native, her Spanish is pretty good, and it's an easy way for you to actually start pronouncing the words properly through the stories. I also love that this podcast provides the transcripts. When I was a super beginner, that was super important for me because I needed to actually see the words. Are any of you like that? Like you want to actually see them. So here's a quick sample of that podcast.
Cuando la Primera Guerra Mundial empezó, Roscoe fue a Francia y manejó ambulancias. Con tiempo, se transfirió a la sección aérea.
Now, for sure, some of you are going to come for me for this one because you guys know I am not a fan of Duolingo. I do not like that little owl. And, although I'm against the app, I am not against the podcast. It was the best thing that I got from actually ever downloading the Duolingo app. So what makes this podcast special is real life stories. And I'm a sucker for a real story, right? If you have to listen to a story and you have to listen to it in Spanish, it kind of helps that it's a real story. It makes it more interesting. So they did something unique. The host, Martina Castro, she explains everything in English as the native speaker is explaining the story in Spanish. So I can appreciate, especially from a beginner's perspective, of someone speaking clearly and you can understand the words that are coming out of their mouth.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
So here's what I'm talking about. Let's give it a quick listen.
In Pedro's hometown, many women didn't know how to read, so his mother often read their mail for them. David says that the young Pedro loved listening to his mother read these letters, especially when she got creative.
Un día, Pedro descubrió que su mamá inventaba partes de las cartas que leía. Entonces le dijo, «Pero, madre, ¿por qué les has dicho eso si no estaba en la carta?»
My third recommendation is Coffee Break Spanish. Now, what makes this podcast unique is they actually use the Spain tense. When I used to listen to this podcast, I also liked that it was different native teachers. It wasn't always the exact same voice. And I loved that it was my podcast that I could learn from. It wasn't just speaking Spanish or getting comprehensible inputs. It was actually teaching me the language, teaching me the conjugations as I was listening. Speaking of conjugations, let's listen to a little peek of this podcast.
So, voy,
Voy,
I go. You go is vas.
vas,
And he, she, or it goes is va.
va.
Voy, vas, va.
Voy, vas, va.
As we all know, speaking Spanish is a journey. And if you ever want to go on that journey with me and my Spanish community, we have native Spanish speaking teachers. We have Spanish lessons. We have an entire music club. We have a day that we all get together and just speak Spanish on Zoom. So if that's something that interests you, the link is below. And there's usually a little coupon in there somewhere for my YouTube family. My fourth recommendation, and this is a podcast that I actually do still listen to this day, and it's called 10-Minute Spanish Tips. You guys, if you are busy, it is exactly what it says. It gives you a pump of Spanish for 10 minutes. So each podcast episode teaches you something different about the language. The main host, her name is Andrea, and she has a cute little bubbly personality. And if you have to listen to something without actually watching it, it's kind of fun to listen to someone who's not like, and then You know, someone with a little bit of movement, a little bit of personality in their voice, and she does that very well. On this podcast, there are also other hosts that have different accents, so I think you get a good variety in this 10 minutes. Although this podcast is mainly Spanish, what I really like about it is she will speak English when it is something complex, when it is something that needs to be explained further.
8. Usos diferentes del verbo caer. Lo utilizamos como tal como caer y también como caerse. Seguramente ustedes sepan algunos, quizás 2, 3, 4 usos de los que mencionaré aquí, pero les voy a mencionar 8, así que van a aprender cosas nuevas. Vamos para el número 1.
So the 5th podcast, you guys, I really like this podcast. I don't have a favorite because they all have different benefits and they've all been with me along my journey. I am way past super beginner or beginner, so I wouldn't listen to the first ones that I recommended, like Duolingo or Simple Spanish Stories. However, this podcast gives something different to the table, and I actually like that. So one of the hosts is a gringo named Jim. Now, why did I call him a gringo? That's what he called himself, okay? So calm down, all right? And he's partnered with a native Mexican woman. Her name is Ma. So they talk about culture, they talk about vacationing and all types of different subjects. But what I can appreciate is because Jim is a gringo, she corrects him in real time. If he mispronounced something, she doesn't do it like in a teacher way because they're just having a casual conversation. But you can hear him make mistakes sometime and she'll just correct him and he'll just repeat it and keep on speaking. I think that is the most realistic way to learn a language. And he speaks so well to not be a native, and to hear that he still makes mistakes, it just brings the human back into the experience.
Y pues está perfecto como para ya sea comer en el camino o llevártelo al trabajo, que es como la versión mexicana de algo que se llama Cornish pasties de Inglaterra.
Sí, qué curioso. Los hemos comido, pero nunca pensaba como que es algo que viene de Inglaterra.
And my final recommendation is Andrea La Mexicana. Andrea is from Dreaming Spanish, and she has her own thing going on now. She's no longer a part of Dreaming Spanish, but I really like her podcast. Number one, I am familiar with her tone of speaking. I am familiar with the Mexican accent. And she speaks really clearly, really well because she was used to doing that for so long on Dreaming Spanish, but she doesn't baby you. But what I really like about her podcast is she has everyday topics, okay? Even something as simple as how do you say I am sick? How do you express how you're feeling? So let's just give that a listen right now.
El día de hoy estoy un poco enferma. De hecho, estoy grabando este podcast desde mi habitación. Estoy un poco mormada, pero muy comprometida a entregarles contenido de valor.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you check out one of my oldies but goodies, How to Learn Spanish with Music. It's right over here. Nos vemos pronto. Ciao.